Hi, we are back now here, listening to Chhavi all the way from London. She's a product designer in Bumble. She's traveled all around the world, working in places like Barcelona, London, etc. So she'll be guiding us with respect to applying for jobs and internships outside campus. Over to you. Thank you. All the
Hey,
best.
thanks, Sugun. Thank you so much. Okay, let's get this thing going. Okay, I'm gonna ask the question of the century. Can you see my screen and can you hear me fine? Just some thumbs ups. Perfect. So, hi everyone, I am Chhavi and I am a product designer at Bumble. I am currently that, but still very much Deodian at heart, batch of 2018, even though it feels like it was decades ago. And Godhano, Jai Technish, all the way. We are rhinos, and I so miss the Khoka Wali chai. And I was a big fan of like Sunday morning dosa. It's Friday today, and unfortunately, now no Sunday dosa to look forward to this time, but I'm still excited. I'm still excited to be here, and thank you so much for signing up to listen to me for the next few minutes. Before I start, that was all about me. I really want to know how all of you are feeling. So, this is a quick warm up, sort of. You can scan the QR code on the screen that you see, or you can go to slido.com. And when it asks for a code, just put Tashkil and start putting your one word or two word or one line answers in there. I would love to hear how everyone is doing today. Okay, I'm gonna wait a couple of seconds till you guys figure it out. Cool. Excited. So am I. Overworked. Tell me about it. It's Friday. Campus vibes. Yes. Super nostalgic, especially after listening to Manu Bhaiya and Charmidi and Safi Nadi. Motivated. TGIF. That's my mood today. That's truly my mood today. I can't tell you. Can't wait to be back. Yes, my heart goes out to you. Like, if I was in final year, I would be crying all day. Thank you. Thank you. Bumble Premium giveaway. Yes, maybe wait for it till the end of it. Maybe there's a surprise. I'm just kidding. There's nothing. Okay. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. And Jet Technique. Yes. Sorry, Chami, but Jet Technique all the way. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing how you're feeling with me. Okay, and then the next one is, what are you looking for right now? Are you looking for an internship or a job? Do you already have a job and you're looking for your next opportunity? Are you just not looking forward to anything? Why are you here? Gyan, yes, lots of Gyan to come forward. Like, did you just hear about us and you're here, or did I pay you to be here? Just, you can be really honest. Girlfriend, go to Bumble. Job, maybe the right place. Internship, right place. Looking forward for the chai. Yes, obviously. Me too. Weight loss, sorry, no help. Some direction, yes. Sustainable mindfulness. Okay, now you guys are just like messing with me. So I am gonna move on to the next slide. Cool. So before I start, I just wanted to put a disclaimer here that often when you hear these talks, you are like, super worked up, super overwhelmed that, oh my God, I've done nothing so far. Or like, how am I going to find an internship? How am I going to find a job? My portfolio is not done. So I'm pretty sure like when you hear me talk in the next few slides, one, you might feel overwhelmed at some time. Just know that we are still very much in the middle of the pandemic, and whatever you're doing is more than enough. Treat this talk like a guiding direction, but not as a checklist that I have to do XYZ to get a job or internship. And all that you see in the coming slides is me talking about last 4 or 5 years in like less than 15 minutes. So obviously you're just gonna see the highlights and things that have worked really well for me. So yes, just take it with a pinch of salt. If at some point you feel like, that is too much, just quit. Okay, I'm telling you, it's not worth it. But stay around, and I hope you find something which helps you in whatever you're looking for, be it a job, internship, or sustainable mindfulness. Cool. So today I want to share with you some things that I wish someone told me when I started applying for internships and jobs. This is a very unfiltered, raw talk. Like, I had originally thought about sharing it with just my juniors, but then all of you are super welcome. This is super unfiltered. This is the gyan that I would give my younger sister, and she would have no choice to listen to it. But here you are listening to it today for the next 20-25 minutes. Cool. So I am gonna start with internships because most of you might be interns looking for internship, but be assured, all of that we'll talk is very relevant to jobs as well. So for this talk, what I did was dig deep, really, really deep into my email box and find the first emails, like the first set of emails that I sent for my internship in my second year. So that would be like 2016. So this is an email that I sent out to get an internship, like a summer internship for 2 months. And I want you to take a minute and read through it and then tell me, same link and the Slido, of what do you think I could have done better? Like, if you were doing it instead of me right now, what would you have changed about this email or the approach towards getting an intern? I'm going to stop here for a minute and let you read it, think about it, and put your answers there. Okay, let's see if we started getting some responses. Not yet. Don't overthink. Just put in what do you think. Maybe the email could have been proofread, or maybe it could have been shorter or longer. I could have given more context. I could have not sent an email. Like, what's going on in your mind when you think of when you look at this email and think about what I could have done better. Okay, make it more personal. I see. More about you. Show your passion. Less templatish. Why them? More enthusiasm. Expand on your projects. Short and more interesting. So yes, I see all of you. More emojis, please. Oh yes, definitely more emojis. So yes, I see all of you have these ideas, and looking at it, you can definitely like figure out what I could have done better. I'm just gonna share what I think I could have done better. So first things first, like somebody already mentioned, I would have crushed that template. Like, this was the template of emails that was used by my seniors, maybe their seniors, and then I'm pretty sure used by my juniors and their juniors. So like, one of the first things that I would ask you to do is break the templates. Like, even first is recognize that you're using a template, and second, go ahead and break it, because this template was maybe made maybe 5 years ago, when email was the only way that you could reach out, and this was the format that was prevalent. Second, what I would have done is I would have reached out to one of my seniors who is already working, who had already interned at that firm. Now, why WhatsApp? Because I must be on speaking terms with them. I must be like talking to them on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and I have had talked to them before. That's why I put in a WhatsApp screenshot here. But if it was someone that I did not know or knew through somebody, I would definitely suggest go through the LinkedIn way. Like, if given an option, always choose to be more professional. And then the third one, assuming the happy part that that person did connect me to the intern firm that I'm looking at, I would send an email highlighting my projects. Like we discussed yesterday, if you're just starting out, it could be difficult that you don't have any projects, but just then take a step back and think about the USP that you can show in those 3 or 4 lines. So maybe you once designed an app that was developed and was used by less than 100 people for less than a week, but you can still put it there because it is something that you've done and you can show, and which none of your classmates have done probably. I also chose to then highlight that, okay, I also blog regularly about design and my college life on Medium. Uh, Again, show my excitement, enthusiasm, keep it short, attach my resume and portfolio, and then send it over. So these are some things that if I was in second year right now, that I wish I would have done. So just to sum up, I wish someone told me this on internships. I'm pretty sure somebody did, but I did not listen. One is with internships, you're already on a tight deadline, right? Because you have just a short gap between two semesters, and you don't even have a degree to show. So you're really tight on timeline. So be very proactive. Like, don't think about it at the last moment. Try and be proactive and plan for it already. So say if you're looking for summer internships, maybe start thinking about it in December, start applying in January, in February, try and land at internship. Now, that is not to say that now you're too late, now you're not gonna get a summer internship. No, never. It's never too late to apply, but just try and stick to timelines and be proactive. Break out from the template. You will see this coming up again and again. But yes, question your templates and break it up. Reach out for a referral if possible. You'll find out that people are more than willing to help, especially if they are your seniors, or you come up with like a mutual who can help you out. And then moving on to finding jobs. Now, there's a disclaimer, all that we talked about is still applicable from the internship section, but now I'm going to specifically also try and focus on some strategies that I found really helpful when finding jobs. Again, just to mention here, I took a on placement campus. Like, I had a pre-placement offer from Nutanix. So right after college, I joined them. But most of these learnings are from my next two job ones, which was for N26 in Barcelona, and then the very recent one for Bumble in London. Okay, so the first things first, like, how do I find a job? Like, you can go on LinkedIn, Glassdoor, Indeed. I would not go in the sources. I'm pretty sure you have like tons of them, but be on a continuous lookout. What do I mean by that? One, if you already have a job, stay on a lookout. I read somewhere like the best time to find a job is when you don't need a job, and I completely agree, because when you're looking for a job, then you don't have time to be picky or critical. But if you already have a good gig going, then you have more time to think about that company. Does that company match your values? How's the team look like? What's the work culture? You have more time to invest, to talk to people, invest like in more in research. So be on a continuous lookout. I've also heard a lot of my colleagues or friends say that maybe if I look out for jobs right now, I'm not loyal to my current manager or my team or my company. That is absolutely not true. Like, you can be 100% devoted and loyal to your current company and manager and team, and still be on a lookout, because you're just having a look at how the market is looking like, what are the current requirements, what's the latest designer title that is out there. So it's absolutely okay to play for a longer haul. Now, second would be, say if you don't already have a job, you're in your fourth year and you're looking for jobs, then again I would say take some, like, start it earlier rather than later. Like, if you want a job in August, start now, start looking now. Don't wait till the last moment, that once my CV and portfolio is on point and once I have my degree, then I'll start looking for a job. Like, always try and put in some extra margin for the lookout period. Then next one is my personal opinion again. Rather than bulk emailing, pick out 5 or maybe 10 that you really connected with or that you want to work with. Again, here you could have 2 lists, maybe 5 from one which are like immediate, like which you think you can get as your next opportunity, and then 5 for the long haul. Like, you look at the title and you look at the description, and then you go, "Oof, there is no way that I can ever get it." But I would say, why not? Why can you never get a job? It's just a job. So maybe you will not get it in 1 year or 5 years or maybe even 10 years. But the time and energy that you invest in finding about that job, about that company, about those people, that will never be like lost, because one, you learn from it, and two, you might just get that dream job, right? So rather than bulk, like choosing hundreds and then having a template and sending it out, I would say focus on 5 or 10 companies that you really, really want to work for. And then this one, right? Like, if you're like me, I don't know about you, but I find it really, really weird and uncomfortable to reach out to like random strangers or internet for like career guidance or maybe job referrals. Like it freaks me out. Like I'm so anxious before I send that email or message. I read it like 5 times. I'm going crazy about it, making my sister read it 5 times. So yes, that used to like throw me off my game. So what I started instead doing was investing time and actually reading about that person. So I would like find a person, go read all the links that they shared, maybe go on their social media channels, maybe they were on a podcast, or maybe they were like, shared a blog, or maybe they have a portfolio. And I realized that, say, after 20 or 25 minutes of my research, I would genuinely have something that I would want that person to read, or like, to share. So then when I message that person, I am like doing it 100% for selfish reasons, that I want them to know that, wow, I think this was awesome, this project was cool, or I especially found this to be nice. So then my problem solved, like my messages were genuine, and I invested that time in that person before I reached out. And I would suggest you do the same, because it really shows. Rather than hi, how are you, if you do send out something which is meaningful and which shows that you put in the effort, you are more likely to get a response and make a connection. These are just some messages that I put here from my actual LinkedIn to show you some of the things that worked for me. Okay, and now specifically coming for jobs abroad, if you are looking for jobs abroad, one thing I would say is apply for companies who have visa sponsorships or funding. Like it makes no sense to like just go online and do like hundreds and 200s of emailing. Like this will give you no results. Again, coming back to the focus list that we made. Combine the first one with the second one. So reach out to people who have experience doing this, because they have done the same thing for months before you. So why not just count on their knowledge and build from there, rather than starting from scratch. Another thing is, like, if you're looking not for an established company, if you're looking for like something which is startup or like established startup, then also look for the funding rounds. It's usually before or after funding rounds that people tend to hire. So again, it is a little bit of extra work, that apart from all the things that you have to do for job hunt, you also have to like take care of the funding or the visa sponsorship and the extra people that you have to reach out to. But if that is something which is on your mind, do keep it, do like invest time in this. The third part is very important, which is prepare for timelines. I think people underestimate how much time it takes for visas to process and for the relocation to happen. So, like, it could take weeks or even months from my personal experience. So, always have a plan B. Now, if you're a fresh college graduate and you're like, no, I want to work abroad, then I would suggest that do it both, like do it in your home country and look abroad at the same time. Because one, you do need a job, right? You can't wait for like 6 or 7 months to relocate to another city or another country before beginning. So one, like, keep a plan B. And two, there are a lot of, like, you can gain experience in that time, you can update your portfolio, you can practice your interviewing skills. So always prepare for timelines. Do not go for the golden case that today I'll start applying and in 1 month I'll relocate. That is never happens. Like, at least from my personal experience, that is very difficult to happen. And fourth one is consistency is key. It is always the key, but more so here. Like, I've seen a few friends who would like bulk email for a week or two and then give up. But I think like finding jobs abroad is like a more consistent game. So you have to do it for weeks and months, because especially now when the market is so fragile and the openings are like flaky, they open, they close. I would say be consistent. Like, if it is truly your goal to like work abroad, uh, just like spend every week some hours doing the research, reaching out to people, updating your portfolio and sending it. I have found out that this strategy is better rather than putting your entire life on stake for a job. Cool. So that was all about finding the jobs in the job market. Let me see if we have, I think we might have some questions yet. No. That's okay. Cool. I will carry on, and you guys feel free to like leave questions in the question bar. Okay, so applying for jobs was easy. Sorry, like finding the jobs was easy, I hope. But the next thing is actually going ahead and applying for jobs. Again, a real Twitter message that I pasted here just for you guys is again, break your template. You can see how much I've personally had to evolve from my template email to come to this point where it's completely different from where I started from. Now, obviously, there's a risk attached with going beyond emails and LinkedIn. And I would say, like, if you do break those professional mediums, do it with a taste. Don't be creepy. Don't be stalker. Don't be a stalker. Don't be rude. Don't demand time. Do it nicely, but do think about breaking your template because there's so many applicants there. You have to be creative and you have to come up with a new template that works for you. Again, I cannot stress this enough, is genuine and polite messages only. Like, this is something that I've also learned over the years, is that nobody owes you anything, to be honest. Like, even if they were your seniors, or even if you met them somewhere in Kormangla, or like even if you have worked with them, nobody really owes you, but you'll find people are really willing to help you out though. So you have to be genuine and polite when reaching out. And also, if they choose not to connect you to right people or choose not to refer you, you shouldn't take it personally, right? Because you are on your own journey and they are on their own journey. So do not confuse this professional relationship with a person's personality or identity. uh, Again, cannot stress this enough. Please always be genuine and always send polite messages. Like, if you're confused, just amp up the politeness by 5x and you will never go wrong. And then the third part is when you're like us reaching out to people to ask for referrals or anything, is always reflect your over preparedness. I put this example here because I absolutely love how this mutual person reached out to me for a friend of her that wanted to apply to N26. She sent me this, and I kid you not, within 10 minutes, I had connected with the person who wanted to apply and I had referred her. Why was it so easy for me? Because she had done like the job for me. Like, she was so prepared. Like, she had all her details, all the extra paragraph that I could put in the portal. She had the CV attached. She had all the career links. So it took me like less than 5 minutes to fill up the portal and refer her. And guess what? She did get the job. Like, you can see from the preparedness that the message showed that she would always give like 110% to that. And I can tell you this from my very limited experience of getting these sort of messages, that one can easily differentiate between people who are actually dead serious about getting where they want to be, and two who are just there for, like, like beating around the bush. Hey, how are you? How's this going? How's that going? It doesn't really work, right? So always reflect your over preparedness, and this will only come if you've done your first groundwork properly. Like, if you focused on finding the right company, the right people, the right reasons for a job. Now, all this is through referrals. I wanted to specifically focus on that part. Obviously, you can apply on the portal. Most companies do encourage applying on the portal. Just keep in mind that if you are reaching out for a referral, don't apply on the company portal as well, because then you lose out on the opportunity. Like, follow only one of the routes, don't do both. And that was all for applying for jobs. Now, you've got that first interview. First of all, a big congratulations, because I feel like if you got that first interview, half the battle is won. Like, congratulates yourself, celebrate, because it is tough. It is tough, like coming up from like this pool of applicants to maybe like 10 or 20 that the recruiter has selected for the next round. Uh, why I would say that it is half the battle won, because from now on you will get to bring yourself, your voice, your personality, your portfolio, your skill set to the interviews as well. So obviously you have all of this leverage with you, and I would say use it. Like, you are here, you've won off the battle. You do not want to go easy at this step. Okay, now so some tips for like at the step for preparing for interviews, right? So one thing is prepare and over prepare. You will see this theme coming along, like, because that's how just I have navigated my career, is always over prepare, like always over prepare. These are some screenshots from my application process for both N26 and Bumble. For N26 I had done like the thorough exploration of their app and suggested a few things which I could add value to, not in only in the app but in their team structure or their team social presence. For Bumble, I had pretty much done the same, though in later stages. So just prepare and over prepare when you finally get that interview. Do not take it lightly and do not spend that time looking for more companies if you've already got an interview with a company you really want to interview with. Second, like most of you are fresh grads, so I would suggest that you be ready for design exercises. Even though design exercises are like controversial take in the design industry, but sometimes, especially for fresh grads, it's difficult because our portfolio does not have strong signals yet. So you would most probably get a design exercise to get those signals, right? So one thing that I had done was create all these templates for myself, because once you get the design exercise, the timer starts, right? You either have to submit it in 1 week or 10 days, and you probably have 2 or 3 more if you're interviewing for more places. So why not prepare yourself before uh, that timer starts? So one easy way to do it is on Figma or whatever tool that you use, keep all the templates ready. I had like a design process ready and I had a time estimate as well. So like for initial desk research and discovery, I would spend 2 hours. For wireframing, I'll spend 2 hours. For visual design, I would spend 100 hours. Kidding, but yeah, it was really tough. So I knew where my weakness was, where my strength was, how much time it would take. So I knew how to prepare for myself. So whenever the recruiter said, "Okay, next stage is design exercise," I wasn't sweating. I was prepared for the battle ahead. Then next, uh, I would just say get to know the team. Please don't be a stalker or a creepy person. But yes, always prepare that who are you interviewing with, who are they working with. This is nice because it gives you some context of what the person might be looking for. Say if it's a product manager, then you know how to manage that interview versus if you are talking with a designer or a developer. So always spend some time getting to know the team and be prepared. So yes, if the person is then telling you about where they've worked, you also know the name of their dog and their Twitter handle and the latest movie they've watched. Just kidding, don't do that. uh, okay, then, okay, so now you've prepared for the interviews and it is the day, or maybe like a bunch of D days because there will be so many interviews. By the end of it, you will be like a pro. So, what I wish I knew while I was interviewing, right? So, this is one of the hard truth. I know Manu Bhaiya shared one hard truth yesterday, which was a lot of these recruiters will be seeing your portfolios while they are in a cab. That is a hard truth. And this is another one of the hard truth, that your live deciding meeting is just another meeting for some person, right? Like they have a full day of meetings, and between that, there's one slot which is the interview slot. Now, this is not to say that the interviewers are not excited or not prepared for the interview. This is just to give you an idea that make their jobs easier for them. Like this interview, which is very high stakes for you, is just another meeting for some person. So if it is high stake for you, then you need to prepare more for it, right? It is very obvious. And also you need to be aware of the context that the person is joining in the call. Like it often happens that you're in a meeting, you're finishing up something, and then this, that notification goes on. So that person is just jumping from that mindset to this mindset. So you cannot expect to for them to like do all the job. You have to do it some job, like half the job for them. And this is where the tailored presentation comes in. You have to take control of the narrative of the next 40 to 45 minutes to make sure that whatever you want to highlight is being highlighted, right? So always prepare a tailored presentation. Manobhaya also talked about it, that don't just read out from the website. That person has probably seen it on his way here, right? Prepare a tailored presentation. This is one thing that I always felt was one of my skills, that I always had a really nice tailored presentation for all the interviewers that I interviewed with. So for Bumble, I remember I had a picture of Priyanka Chopra just to draw attention of the interviewers and tell them that, hey, this is how I came to know about Bumble, because when Priyanka Chopra visited it, that was the first time I heard about Bumble. So always create like a prepare a tailored presentation, and then take notes. Why? I will tell you later, but just trust me on this. So far, you're listening, so just take notes, okay? I'll tell you why. Cool. So I see some questions, but I also see the time. I would suggest we go with it. So because I still have a few slides, and then at the end, I will take all the questions at once. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Coming back. Oh, I forgot the most important point, which is while interviewing, have an SOS kit ready. Now, what do I mean by it? It is that you might be anxious, you might be flustered, you've prepared so much, and maybe, especially in video calls, the person in front of you is not responding, and you're feeling like really awkward or uncomfortable, or you're feeling cold. So, all these things are very normal, right? So what I found, which have really worked for me, is like while I was taking notes, I always had like a column on write where I would just write a pep talk for myself, like would it be like before the interview or during the interview. And whenever I felt like, oh my god, I am bombing this, I would just like take a deep breath and then read, and then I'd be like, okay, it's okay, like the interview is 45 minutes long. Even if I screw up 5 minutes of it, the interviewer would focus on those 40 minutes. So maybe for you it's not writing, maybe for you it's actually taking a breath and asking the interviewer that, hey, can I just take a minute off and switch off your video and be like, and then come back, right? So always have something. Like, don't expect the golden case that I would be successfully sharing my screen share, I would like, have the perfect interview. Always have a backup plan that in case I bomb, this is what I'm going to do. Also, after the interview, if you know you've bombed it really bad, I have done that. Like, after the interview, I knew that there was no way I'm making it. I had a plan ready. I knew that this is what I was gonna order. This is the movie I was gonna watch, and I'm gonna forget about it the next morning. So always have this one ready. Like, I also have my notes here right now for the SOS kit handy. Then, on after the interview. Now you would say, come on, Chhavi, just let us go. We've interviewed, we've done our job. But then, no, not yet. Like, there is one crucial checkpoint even after the interview that you need to make sure of. So one is always follow up, be it through LinkedIn or email, or maybe just sending a note through the recruiter. Always follow up. One of my colleagues from N26, on the last day, she told me that one of the first memories she has of me is the follow-up message that I sent her. She said it was so funny, and I remember reading it and thinking, oh, she could make a nice colleague. And that's why I wrote like really good reviews about you. And I was like, what? Really? So I really did not do as well as on the interview, is it? So I'm just telling you that do not lose that opportunity that you have after the interview as well, right? This is a moment that you can capture, so why not capture it? There's no price on it. So just follow up always. Again, why was I asking you to take your notes? Before you close your tab and go to celebrate, always consolidate your notes, maybe it in Notion or maybe in your doc, but do it, because the chances are you'll be interviewing a lot. Like, there will be 5 or 6 interviews, maybe you are interviewing with multiple companies as well. So if you're talking to someone now, like, and you have this strong instinct that, oh shit, this is a red flag, chances are when you are taking your decision 3 weeks or maybe 5 weeks later, you will not remember that instinct, or you will not remember that red flag. But if you have it in your notes that, oops, this was uncomfortable, oh, their team is so, then you would remember it. Another thing that I've found, which is like too extra, like you'll like kill me because it is so extra, is look for the words that the person is using, like be it the recruiter or the interviewers that you are talking to. So because they've already been in sync, and because like they have so many meetings, we tend to talk the same words, like, oh, we need somebody for the strategic work, oh, we need for the somebody for the strategic work, oh, we need somebody who's good with iterative design. So you will see that the recruiter and the other people who interview you will always try and ask you questions, or maybe ask you to describe something about this. So how is it helpful? One, you can use it in your own interviews. Like you can say, oh, I'm really good at strategic deliverable work, you know. So then what happens is you're speaking their language without even them knowing what you did there, right? So that is something that I learned. And another thing is, when you're negotiating your compensation, you give them very, very strong words like, okay, I can do strategic deliverable work, and I think it's my, like, you know, it's my highlight. I have a PhD in it, so you want to make sure that you have me. So that is also really helpful. And all this you can only do if in your notes you have it, like you have written it up, that this is what I have to ask during or after the interviews. And next one is pretty obvious one, but I thought I'll mention it anyways, is that manage your different timelines well. So like start applying to all these companies at the same time. So at the same time you have the end stages or the last interviews. Otherwise you might just miss out on your dream job, because they are still, like, you know, finding your CV, and here somebody has an offer for you. So try and manage these timelines well for yourself. And then you have the job. Perfect, we made it all the way till the last one. Congratulations. One, do celebrate, go to Big Brewski, I would completely suggest it. But while you celebrate, on the back of the mind, also, like, you fought the battle, it's about time you collect the rewards, right? So yes, on picking a job. One, I think about this often now that I've moved countries. Like, I think about it almost every day, that it's a privilege to choose which country, which city, which company, which team that you're working with, right? It's even a privilege to choose that, like, if you have a job offer and if you can afford not to take it, it's a privilege beyond measures. Like, I always feel this. So if you do have a job offer, it's a privilege, and take it very seriously. Like, decide if the offer that you have, or the offers you have, matches what you had in mind. Second, take your time. Like, take your time. Like, there's so many things, because the company has already invested so much in you, right, from the starting process to the end process, maybe 3 or 4 weeks. And if they have offered you a job, it means that they see some value that you can add to their company. So now the ball's in your court. So just keep it in your code for a while and think about it. Is there something which makes you uncomfortable, be it the compensation, or be it the working hours, or be it the location? Why is it that makes you uncomfortable? Can you do something about it? Do you see yourself in this job for, like, next 6 months, next year, next 2 years? Like, ask all these hard questions and take your time before just saying yes, because there's nothing more disappointing for the team and for you if you take an offer and then go back on it. Like, I would suggest not to do it unless it's like really, like, really, really severe situation. So take your time in thinking about the job offer itself. And next, I would, this is something that I've learned the hard way, and the good way and the lucky way, is choose people over everything else. Like, for me, the deciding factor for N26 was how kind and how nice the people were when I talked. Like, there were like 5 or 6 rounds, and everybody that I talked to was super nice. And I was like, yes, like, they did not make me feel like I was still like pretty junior, like 1 or 2 years, 1.5 years into the industry, but none of them made me feel uh, like a junior. They were also respectful, also nice. And when I moved to Barcelona, obviously I did not think, right, that there would be a pandemic and I would be stuck with these people. But it was my instinct that helped me, because I knew the people were nice. They turned out to be nice. I could, like, survive that pandemic with that set of people, working 8 hours with them. So if you're in doubt, like, if you're in doubt over pay, title, people, always pick people. Always pick people. And that's about it, folks. So this is all that we talked about. I will be happy to send you a screenshot of this, or maybe like even the talk will be available later. This is all I had. This is all the gyan I had that I had collected over the last 2 or 3 years for you. I hope you found it useful. And if if still, like, after talking so much, you feel like I can talk more to you, feel free to sign up, like, go here and book a slot. This is something that I'm trying to do, which is I want to spend more time helping all of you get the job or intern that you want, especially if you're looking to move abroad. Feel free. I'm going to try doing it twice, 2 hours a week, where I would specifically try and help you uh, with the job or internship question as much as I can. And yes, that is all. Thank you so much for hearing me speak for so long, and I am super grateful to be here. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna stop
Thank
sharing my
you.
screen so
Thank
that.
you. We can now maybe look at the questions. It would be great if you could
Yes,
sort them
for
by
sure.
upvotes.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Okay. Why don't I see no questions? Wait. Sessions, raise hands, attendees. Yes, perfect. Mm, upvotes. Okay, what is the line being between being honest versus underconfident? No, sorry, go ahead. Sorry. Okay, this first question is, should one be picky while trying to get internships or have the mindset any exposure is good exposure except unpaid? Uh, okay, so before answering all these questions, I'm gonna just put in there uh, that all of these are my opinions. I learned from Charmi that all of these are my opinions. So please do not take it like a line written in stone. I'm just gonna answer it like I would answer it to my younger sister, right? So just take it with a pinch of salt. First thing, accept unpaid. Uh, should one be picky while trying to get internships or have the mindset any exposure is good exposure? So it depends on you, right? Where are you right now? Do you have option to choose? Do you have time to be picky? Like, is it something that maybe like maybe you have a semester requirement that you do need a project, so then you have no way you can be picky, right? You need to get something done, so you need to pick an internship. But if you do have time and time to be picky, then I would suggest you can be picky. But again, it depends completely on your situation. It is very personal. I cannot comment or give like a one line answer on this sort of. Okay, can you share? Sorry, can you share one question that an interviewer asked you and you felt was just brilliant? Yes, I can. The one that I remember, and then one which, like, I was like, it was for N26 in one of the very last rounds, and this product manager came and asked me that what is one thing that will annoy me to no extent when you join us, like when you start working with us. And you know how you do these strength and weaknesses answers, where you like reframe a weakness into a strength. And I was trying to like think about some weakness which I could like, make it into a strength, and I answered some generic thing saying that, oh, I'm very perfectionist, blah blah blah. And he's like, no, I know this, I know this trick, like give me an honest answer. So yes, that was a tricky one. And then I just honestly answered that I'm a morning person and you'll have to deal with the enthusiasm in the morning. And he was like, oh my god, that would irritate me to no hell. And I was like, yeah, what can I do? And I did work with him and I did irritate him, but at least like we had that in the interview, and it was a nice icebreaker and it was really nice. But yes, it did throw me off my game, did not prepare for that one. Okay. How much should we wait for people on LinkedIn to reply before concluding that they probably won't reply? If they don't reply, what is the next best steps way to approach without sounding like you're pestering them? This is a very good question. I have struggled with it a lot too. I would say people usually reply within a week if they want to reply, and if not, they just don't reply. So don't take it personally. Most of the people don't even check LinkedIn if they are not actively looking for jobs, so just don't take it personally. Depends on what you are asking them for. If you're just asking for maybe their time or guidance, and if they haven't replied yet, uh, my guess, like my experience is that they probably don't have the time. So don't take it personally and move on. But about the reminders, I would say just one reminder, maybe like a week later, because sometimes it does happen that you have so many messages, or maybe you're caught off in work, or maybe you read it and like me, you read it you replied in your head and then you walked away, right? So maybe sometimes it helps that you have like a one line reminder saying, hey, do you hey, just a gentle reminder, it would be nice if you could reply. If not, thank you for your time. That is enough. Like one reminder is enough. Please do not do that thing which I have done. I am guilty of doing that. You go on LinkedIn, then you go on Messenger, then you go on Twitter, then you also email them, and then you also fill up the form that their website has. Yes, I have done that. Like everybody has done that at some point of time, but then it doesn't play in your favor. Like it doesn't. Okay, how to not succumb to the peer pressure that comes with campus placements and internships? Asking for a friend. Hi, Omkar. Sorry, I was one of the friends. Okay, how not to succumb? Just understand, this is something that I was also talking about very recently, and I included in the slide and then removed it. Is everybody has like very very different timelines than you. Like it's not a sprint, it's not a 200-meter sprints that you get the best of internship, best of job campus placements, and then you're done. No, it's not like that. It's your life, it's your career, it's a marathon. So maybe your first gig isn't the best gig, maybe your second gig isn't the best gig, but then the third one is so good that it beats all those years where you were not in the spotlight or not getting the best of work. So this is something that I also struggle with personally, like being very honest, like not to be competitive and comparative, because everybody has like really different timelines with when, especially when it comes to career. And you should also understand that everybody has very different starting points and very different end points. So maybe you have the luxury of not taking up that job, right, because your family is financially independent, whereas somebody else will have to take that shitty job because they have to support their family. Or same with the goals, right? Maybe your goal is to like get a house, but somebody's goal is just to travel the world. So how can you compete or compare with a person who has very different starting point, very different goals, and very different circumstances than you? I know it went a little philosophical, but just try and remember that everybody's journey is very very unique, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Okay, where's the line between being honest versus underconfident in interviews as a student? You all have gotten me, like, you are all asking the questions that are really difficult for me. So, honest versus underconfident. So, like, I'll be really honest with you here that I do have like a lot of feedback from some of my managers that I could do a better job at appearing confident, because sometimes it does happen to me as well, to be honest. But for me personally, again, just for me personally, I found that being honest and being not underconfident, being assured in what you know is the best way to go. Like if you don't know something, just tell you don't know. If you know something, then claim that you know. Like I know that I am really good at presentations, or I know that I'm really good at product skills, so I always make sure to highlight my strengths and be assured in them, and let the other person also know that okay, this is what I know really well and I can do good in. So yes, I hope that answered your question. uh, Agrata, what's the relevance of cover letters while applying? Should you overthink it? Yes, please overthink it. Even though nobody will read it, it's always good to overthink pieces of writing that nobody reads. Uh, but yes, like I said, my strategy has always been to be over prepared with everything, be it the cover letter or the resume or those like annoying answers that you have to fill on portals. Always overthink it, because you never know who's seeing what, right? Maybe the cover letter your recruiting manager is not seeing, but some random designer who has free time in the cab is sitting and reading, and then they find a paragraph that they really connect with, and they're like, oh, this is the person, right? So why leave anything to chance? Always write good cover letters, spend time in it. You learn the art of writing. Okay, now how to negotiate without losing the job offer. Oh, how to negotiate the pay without losing the job offer. This is very interesting. You would not lose the job offer. If you negotiate and they take away your job offer, then it's a big red flag, right? And you missed the bullet, I would say, by not going into that job, because in any fair decent company, I would say that negotiating for your job offer should be taken in a healthy way. Like, it means that you're being honest, that you're uncomfortable about this, and you're trying to explore how you can make it work for you and for them as well. So never take negotiation as a one side or an evil thing that you're doing. Like, you are just making sure that your chances of staying at that company are longer, right? And also, there are some really good blogs on this. I'm giving this gyan, but I had to take this gyan myself. So there are some really good blog posts that I think I should share now that you've asked this question, which explains you the mindset of a negotiation. So yes, do not like go back from not negotiating about a pay if you are not happy with that. How did you negotiate your salary when you were making the move abroad? Did you factor in cost of living, inflation, etc.? Would like to know your thought process. Chetan. Okay, I'll be very honest. The first time I made the move, I just wanted to move abroad. So I did make a lot of compromises on the pay, on the title, etc. To be very honest. But I was very clear in what I wanted. I wanted to work in a global company with a global product. I wanted some really smart people to work along with. Like, most of the team that was at N26 was like coming from companies like IDEO, Google, Airbnb. I was very sure I wanted to be there. Uh, Third, like I said, all the people I interviewed were super kind and super nice. And fourth, Barcelona as a city has always been my city, right? So I had a very clear priority in my head. To be honest, like, it didn't really like it didn't I didn't make a big jump in terms of my compensation because Nutanix is really a good company. But then my priorities were very clear, so I did not negotiate. Like, I could not, because there was not much leverage that I had at that point about the compensation itself, but I did negotiate other stuff. And about the cost of living, obviously I did the basic calculations to make sure that I was covered. I would still be financially independent, I would still have enough money to travel, to live my best life. So all that I did take into account. But just to re-highlight the fact that it was not my number one priority. My number one priority was the global product, the team, and the people that I was working with. Okay, how should you apply if you are unsure about your interest, especially given the multidisciplinary nature of our courses at IITG? Lipika. Hey, hi Lipika. Uh, I'm assuming, how should you apply for internships? Is it? Just do a thumbs up if that's what you mean. Um, I would say I would give the non-diplomatic answer here. Okay, so one is, like, if you're in your third year or if you're in your fourth year, you really do need to get a internship, right? It's not about if you're coming from the mindset that I am coming from. Okay, it could be completely different. Like, when I was in my third and fourth year, I wanted to make sure I had a job, right? So uh, so I would say, just try and find a balance for yourself. Like, what are the things, like, maybe if getting a job and getting a like being financially independent is in your mind, then choose a stream which can offer you that, but balance it out by doing something which you can do on your side. Maybe like, uh, I don't know, like courses or workshops, or maybe like a side gig which Ami just talked about. So be pragmatic. Like, me as a person, I'm super pragmatic about what I want. And if sometimes that means like crushing my soul and my passions for a little while, I have happily done that. Like, I have put my some interest on hold for a while so that I can be more pragmatic in the longer term. I hope that helped. I know it was not the best of answers saying go follow your soul, but this is what has worked for me. Okay. A lot of companies today ask for to connect again much more closer to the summer for summer internships. Yes, that is very common. How do we manage responses when a company higher on your priority list is asking you to wait while another one is offering an internship right now? Okay, number one rule, if you do accept an internship, do not go back on it, because people have spent some time recruiting you for internship, and it burns a bridge if you say that no, I'm not coming, I'm going to my dream company. So this is a trade-off that you would have to make. A lot of my friends, I remember, like a lot of my close friends did not sit for on-campus internships because they were very sure that they would only sit for certain companies or would only go for internships to certain places, right? So have that clarity, because if you don't, you're doing two-way harm. One, you're burning that bridge, and two, you're taking away that opportunity from somebody who could have gotten it. So be very responsible about this thing. If your luck is so that you can't wait for your dream company to open up, then so be it, right? Everybody's dealt with a different set of cards. You just have to deal with what cards you have. Cool. I see thumbs up, so I think I answered that one. Thank you, Manu, for reposting this from Slido. I read on LinkedIn how people have views on paid and non-paid internships. Could you throw some light on how to actually get in conversation about about the stipend? Okay, my hot take is that unpaid internships should be made illegal, but I wish we lived in such a nice world, so they still exist. Could you throw some light? I would say always do it upfront rather than later. Like, do not wait till after you've done your internship 2 months and then you're like, oh, can I get some stipend? No, just talk about it in the starting itself, right? Ask the recruiter or the person who's there. And again, that mentality, right? That oh, if I'm asking for money, I'm a bad person. No, you need money to live, right? So you can ask them that, hey, how would the stipend look for this? I would like to plan my life according to it. So just just be honest, ask up front. If they say no, you can try and make conversation around that. Hey, I would be really adding value, I would need this to like maybe live in Bangalore for 2 months, I expect this much, but I'm really excited to work with you. And then make the trade-offs. If they're like no, 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 and that you can't afford to live without a stipend, then don't, like, move on to the next one. But yes, always be honest. Okay, I'm just gonna drink a little water before. Okay, I see Rupal. Hi Rupal, miss you. Okay, is it a good idea to ask about the approximate pay before diving into the whole process of an application? Is it a red flag for the recruiter if you do so? Have heard conflicting opinions on this. What are your thoughts and observations? Well, actually, it has backfired for me. Like when I was looking for the second time, the recruiter just asked me what I was expecting, and I mentioned the range, and they just didn't get back to me. And later, when I asked for a follow up, they told me that, oh, the thing that you were asking was too much. So again, like I said, right, it was a red flag for me, and it was a bullet that I missed. I also heard later that the culture isn't good at that company, blah blah blah. So basically I took it as a sign that if the recruiter is not mature enough to have a conversation with you uh, about the compensation package early on, then I would take it as a red sign, because it's a time investment on both the parties, right? They are going to spend time interviewing you, resources and money, but you are also going to spend considerable amount of time interviewing with them, be it like doing their like design internship like their exercise or interviewing or whatever. Like the mental energy that you're going to be spending with them has a cost. So I would say, and what I have followed as a strategy is that the recruiter should be mature enough to have this conversation early on. If you want, again, if you're comfortable, like the first time I did it with N26, I was slightly lenient on this, because I was like, okay, as long as they pay me enough to live in Barcelona, I would be okay. So yeah, it also depends on your situation, but I would say the recruiter should be able to talk you through even in the early stages of the interview. Cool. Then moving on to the next one. What is the most important skill which differentiates a product designer with a UX designer? I don't think I'm the. Maybe I am actually. I don't know. I'm not the perfect person to answer this question, but from my experience, being a UX designer in Nutanix and then being product designer in the latter two, is that product designer is working more closely with the product manager, with the product marketing team, with the legal team, with the marketing team, with developers. Like in my experience, when you are like, the roles of product designer and product manager are pretty, like at least in the companies that I've worked with, are pretty interchangeable. Like I've written PRDs and my product design manager has come and played around with copy. So it's more of a hybrid role, I would say. Whereas when you're UX designer, at least in Nutanix, I was solely focused on the design part of it. Whereas as a product designer here, I am expected to have some business knowledge, be able to set metrics, be able to write PRD, be able to communicate with the product marketing team, the legal team, the marketing team. So yes, that's the difference according to my work experience, at least. Kalpesh, how to follow? Oh, from Bhopal. Hi. I miss Bhopal. Okay, how to follow up on applications without being pushy? There's always a thin line, but if it is something uh, that is holding your timeline, then it's not being pushy, it's just being proactive. You're making sure that uh, you have heard back from them. So, always, like I said, be polite. If you're confused, amp up the politeness by 5x, but always be polite. You can always ask for a response from them if you're waiting about it. And also, you can be genuine. If you have another internship processes or job applications going at the same time, you can be like, hey, I really want to do this so that I can make a decision, right? So yes, I would say just go for it. Ma Young, it is suggested to connect to a recruiter on LinkedIn instead of directly applying on the careers portal? Again, be keep in mind that recruiters get like loads and loads and loads of requests and messages and everything else. So I've never had a recruiter like reply to me on LinkedIn, maybe one or two, but not many. So I would say play it safe. Also, if you're applying through a recruiter, it's not like it doesn't count as a referral in most companies. Just 1 second, my battery is dying. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Yes, so replying, like reaching out to a recruiter, does not count as a referral. So you can do both, like apply on a portal, whereas also do that. I see Shagun coming back up. I think we are off time.
We're already 5 minutes up, more than what. So maybe we can do like one more question.
Sorry?
Maybe we can do one more question.
Okay, perfect. And yes, perfect. I'll just put the first one. What is a product designer expected to do? Okay, that changed. So I'm just gonna do the Prakash one. What would be your opinion from a company's perspective while hiring on having an interest in more than one discipline in design? As a designer, when fields are becoming more and more specific, is it good to be a journalist? Okay, stop voting, guys. It's moving up and down. This is a hot take. I don't know. I don't have a take on this. I'm sorry. So far, I can answer the first one, interest in more than one discipline, because you need a complementary team, right? You can't have everybody who's good or bad at visual design. You need somebody who's passionate about visual design or design systems or maybe product skills. So as a recruiting manager, it makes complete sense to me to have a complementary team and look out for having a designer who's more inclined in one as respect to another. As a designer, when fields are becoming more and more specific, is it good to be a generalist? Again, I would say so far it's up to you, right? There's no golden formula of being a specific designer versus generalist. If you are interested in motion design, go for it. Be good in it. Be so good in it that they can't ignore you. And if you are a generalist, be a journalist. I don't have any gyan to add on that. Sorry. Uh,
So if there is no specific question that you really want to answer to, maybe we can end it. Like if you can go through the questions and something that you really want to say.
okay, there are just three. I'll just quickly scan through. What is a product designer expected to do in a software-oriented company? I think I already answered when I was answering for UX designer versus product designer. What advice would you give to students who have only seen the campus process after having experienced both? I would say while campus process offered a more streamlined, safe way of getting a job placement, it's not the end of the world. Like if you didn't get a job or you're not happy with it, always make sure that you try out your option as off campus placements. The world is like so connected that you do not need to be limited to just those 3 days. Maybe those 3 days were not your best days. So I would say experiment, like definitely try out off campus placements for sure. And Last one, if I leave my internship for a better job offer, does that put a bad impression on my current company for future in the company? No, if you're being honest, why not? Because I'm assuming that you are an intern at the current company and the other company is offering you a full time offer, or maybe is my understanding. But you can always be honest, right? That this is why it's not working out for me. Like I had to be honest when I left N26 that these were the reasons that did not work for me. So I'll have to move. And people are generally really nice if you're being honest and if you're being polite. So yeah, I don't think it will burn bridges unless you've done something that will burn bridges. Oof. Nice. I made it all through. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shami. It was an amazing session, and thank you for sharing your experience with us. Loved hearing from you.
Thank you. Thank you. And don't worry, people confuse Charmy and Chhavi all the time, so don't worry.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
so sorry.
it's okay.
Oh,
Not
okay.
the first time. Thank you.
It's
Thank
too
you so
close.
thank you so much.
Okay.
I hope it was helpful and thank you so much for joining.
No, it was amazing. It was amazing. So,
Bye.
all the four keynotes have now successfully come to completion, and we'll soon be uploading the recorded sessions on YouTube. So, feel free to catch up on any session that you or your friends missed out on. Once it has been uploaded, we'll be putting the links and other info on our Instagram page. Do follow us on there, putting up the link of our IG page in the chat. Um, so I hope to see you all tomorrow for the panel discussion with all the four keynote speakers, Manu Amrit, Safina Ali, Charmi Kapoor, and Chhavi Shrivastava at 6 p.m. on the topic Making the Most Out of Design School. Meanwhile, feel free to interact with the speakers in the lounge. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'm going to be putting up our Instagram page link on the chat now. Okay. Thank you, people. Thank you for coming. Goodbye. Again, feel free to chat with everyone. Talk to the speakers in the lounge. Thank you.